Trevor, could we see part 3 of Cody Rhodes versus Nick Aldis for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship? Owner Billy Corgan thinks so. So we've seen these two battle twice. One at All In, where Cody Rhodes won the NWA World Championship from Nick Aldis, and the second time at the NWA 70th anniversary special, where Nick Aldis won the belt back. And Billy Corgan this week said that if Tony Khan is down for it, if Tony Khan wants to partner up on this match, he is more than happy to make it happen. And this has opened the door for a part 3, a rubber match. Each wrestler has one win for Cody Rhodes versus Nick Aldis. And you can say, arguably, this is the match that laid the groundwork for AEW, because it was one of the premier matches, the premier match, if you ask me, at All In. This was like the entire show was basically built around this match in a way. And I think it would be fitting to see these two go in and have a world championship match. And potentially, this is a way for Cody Rhodes to be a world champion without winning the AEW world title, because he can't wrestle for that title anymore. But what do you think about these comments from Corrigan and the potential for this match to happen?
I think now, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen now. You know what I mean? Like, Corgan has opened the doors. Khan is completely open to it. Like, I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen now. And dude, I couldn't be more happier. Like, that's one of the best title matches I've seen in a long time, and two great performers too. Like, it would be great to see a number 3. And honestly, both matches 1 and 2 were great. Like, they both stole the show, I thought, and it would be great to see if they can do it one more time.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I think this is going to be good, because one thing it'll do is it'll actually showcase not only NWA, and, NWA, when they're getting fans back hopefully soon and they're starting to do Power again, it'll help them get some traction post-pandemic. And it will also, I think, showcase Nick Aldis as a superstar. Because if they do this match, Nick Aldis is going to be showcased very well. He's one of the best, most underrated wrestlers in the entire world.
Definitely is.
And I think it'll also make the NWA World Championship relevant again. Because think about what that did when Cody won it. People were thinking about the NWA title as something, of a world championship again. Before, like Matt DiBiase was winning the title. Not Ted DiBiase. Matt DiBiase Jr. Yes. Like this was this was a belt that was dead in the eyes of the wrestling community, and that revived its reputation. And now, if you have someone like Cody Rhodes going after it, it's going to mean something afterwards. So, I think it's the perfect time, like you said, to do this match. And it doesn't have to be at All Out, but I think over the next few months, it has to happen. I think within the next year. Because you want NWA to be a strong product moving forward, so AEW can benefit from their clout and vice versa. And I think NWA really needs it, because they were doing a good thing with Power. But one thing that we talked about, was NWA needs to start going on the road, and if they start going on the road, it doesn't have to be every week. They're not going to do that, but have some shows in some different places. I think it would mean more, and this is the first step to doing that. So this is a match that I think needs to happen.
I mean, like you said, the thing is, and I think it's a shame, a lot of younger wrestlers, a lot of newer people into the wrestling community have no idea what NWA is or was, and have no idea who wrestled for NWA. You have names for NWA that just are etched in wrestling history. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Let's be Ric Flair. My man Dusty.
Harley Race.
Simon,
not Simon Gotch. Frank
Simon
Gotch.
Oh God.
Nick Bockwinkel, man. You got Luthez. There are so many, man.
So
many the list goes on and on and on. It's just, you're right. You're so right.
And that title meant a lot. At one point, that was one of the most prestigious titles in wrestling, honestly. I mean, let's just be real. When WCW first started, they wrestled for the NWA Championship. And that was something that they carried on, because NWA at the time was defunct, and they kept that going. And now that you have guys the caliber of Aldis, Cody, like those guys again made that revigorated that title. It made it something more. And Aldis has done an amazing job at that. Like you hit it on the head by saying he's one of the most underrated wrestlers I've seen in a very long time. Nick, and again, it's because one, unfortunately, not saying that Power is a bad show because I actually enjoy Power, but it's a lot of people aren't watching Power. They don't know it exists. They don't know about NWA. You need to get it more mainstream so people can watch it. Because honestly, all the talent you have over there, and you made another good point. The women's division over there, absolutely stacked, absolutely talented, and no one knows about it because no one watches it. Like you need to get that up front and center so people can understand how good Aldis is and to understand how good that brand is and what it means to wrestling.
The NWA historically, go back and read the Wikipedia articles, kids. The NWA historically was the most important brand in pro wrestling for the longest time. Everything from WWF, WWF, WCW, WCCW, everything was the center point of wrestling for nearly 50 years. Yep. Was the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. That was the only belt that mattered. That was the only belt that people cared about. That was the only belt that people were invested in. And it's sad what happened to it, you know, with the downfall of the NWA in the 90s and the 2000s. But there is a resurgence. And Nick Aldis is the guy that has, you know, carried the company, that has carried the brand for a long time, and I think he will carry it for a long time to come. And it doesn't happen though. Like this resurgence of NWA doesn't happen without that match at All In.
No,
the resurgence doesn't happen without Cody Rhodes. And I think to cap this resurgence, Cody versus Nick Aldis Part 3 must happen. It must happen because it's going to be great for the NWA, great for AEW, great for wrestling fans, great for wrestling history, because people are going to care. And that's what it's about. Like I emphasize this, I feel like every week, as far as what AEW is doing good and what WWE is doing bad. There's a lot of shit in WWE that people don't care about. Yeah. And that's why you see people tuning out in record numbers. That's why you see Raw getting historically low ratings. They fell to 1.2 million. 1.2 million. Monday Night Raw. Unthinkable. And that happens because no one cares about Ricochet and you know and Humberto Carrillo doing like weird stuff with Sheamus. No one cares. And it's terrible because they're talented people.
Exactly.
But AEW, look what they're doing. Everyone, like, they're making everything important. Stakes matter. And when stakes matter, wrestling matters. Take that, Impact Wrestling 2012, where wrestling matters. Remember that? Oh my God. It was like when
wrestling fathers and wrestling mothers, like if you guys have children that you want to introduce wrestling to, show them some old tapes of NWA. Actually teach them some history and go back and watch some of those matches. Like I remember one of the biggest like wrestling things my brother shared with me was when he was a kid, and they used to do NWA matches at in DC. I forget the Stadium Armory. It was Ric Flair and actually Dusty Rhodes in a cage match, and it was crazy. Like like out of everything my brother talks to me about when involving wrestling, this is his like pride and joy. This is his most favorite memory. And like honestly, guys, just go back and watch it. It was great to watch.
Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.